I'm gonna draw a manga. I'm gonna do it. How hard can it be?
Pewdiepie is out here speed running the most random art journey possible. And he just landed on I tried to make manga. Honestly, when I saw this uploaded at 3 a.m. in the morning, I got this weird sense of deja vu. Because a year or so ago, I felt the exact same way watching his first drawing video. Inspired, but also frustrated. Not with his progress. I'm absolutely stoked for the dude. But frustrated with my own art journey, which has been a complete mess. Watching this new video from Pewdiepie brought a lot of those same feelings back up. So, as a professional beginner at manga creation, I figured I'd sit down and actually talk through some of the moments from the video that hit me the hardest, and what they made me realize about my own painfully slow manga journey. Pewdiepie doesn't waste any time. He immediately starts the video off talking about the supplies he's getting in Japan, and honestly, this is the part that gets me really jealous.
But first, I need supplies. And in Japan, I am very spoiled with them.
Pewdiepie isn't exaggerating when he says he's spoiled for supplies in Japan. There's a huge difference in manga accessibility in Japan versus the US, and it's not just the tools, but the whole learning environment around creating manga in general. Over here, it feels like everyone is doing or teaching digitally, or solely focused on a Marvel DC style. Their traditional stuff it's a lot harder to get into outside of your basic drawing techniques like Bridgman or Loomis. Over the years, finding traditional manga tools here in the States has felt like finding a needle in a haystack. You're either paying a crazy amount for shipping from Japan, stuck with limited options on Amazon, or you're piecing together different options from your local hobby store like it's Frankenstein.
Then we went back to the art store for the 500th time because I needed more supplies.
Okay, so I brought the whole dang thing because they have this selection of cutouts. So I hope that I can, I'm hoping I can just like match so I get exactly what I need, basically. I need a lot of paper.
Things are getting a lot better though, but it still takes a bit of research and digging. Screen tones feel like they're still out of the question here though, they're just too expensive. Other than that, I've been able to make do. For the paper, there's a few deleter options available on Amazon, not quite the wide supply you see in PewDiePie's video. And pencils are universal. Microns are widely available. And for India ink, you can use Speedball or Higgins. Works great. And I've been noticing more and more of the dip style pens available on Amazon. More of like the ones that you find in Japan, not just calligraphy.
First, I need to think of a story, which I had luckily had already done. I realized I need a storyboard, otherwise this is gonna be impossible. Like, I need this to go to paper. So today I am working on the storyboard, which I think will be very important. And I'm realizing I'm gonna have to draw a lot more because this is already like 9, 12, 13, and this is not, the story has not even begun. So, let's not worry about scale right now. Let's get all the things I want to get out, and then I can cut it down if I want to. That's my plan.
Getting into the actual process of making manga is where it really hit me. Thumbnailing, penciling, inking. PewDiePie is moving through all of that so quickly, and he's doing a damn good job at it too. I think part of it is being in Japan with way better access to supplies and learning material. Knowing the language helps, and let's be honest, being one of the largest YouTubers ever doesn't hurt. But watching how well he's doing has also made me a little frustrated. Not at his progress, but at mine. It's hard to not compare where we both are. I'm the same age as PewDiePie, and I've been drawing on and off since elementary school. I took a decade-long break, no thanks to World of Warcraft. Growing up, wanting to make comics was no easy task. The information just wasn't there, or difficult to find. No internet, bad public school art teachers, no how to draw comics the Marvel way at the local bookstore. And the only advice being, better go to art school. Long story short, I've picked up a few bad habits over the years. My art skills are all over the place. Some things I can draw decently, others terribly. And that's exactly why I'm procrastinating so much on my own manga. my own manga one shot. I'm not even making an official manga. It's just a practice one shot. I just finished my first page and got stun locked by perfectionism. I wasn't happy with how it turned out, so instead of moving forward, I'm overthinking everything, trying to improve my skills first. It's a vicious cycle.
What have I done? What have I done? I have so much work to do. This is insane. I'm gonna ink all days? What was I thinking? I haven't even finished it. Oh my god. Why did I do so many pages? I just couldn't stop. Now I pay the price. This is not good.
I feel like PewDiePie bit off a little bit more than he can chew, going 50 plus pages, but he seems to have this superpower where he actually finishes what he starts. Real jealous about that. Respect. His thumbnails, backgrounds, and inking all look solid, but I am a beginner, so what do I know? I learned this the hard way just recently how complicated it can be figuring out compositions and camera angles for each and every single panel. It can get stressful fast when you don't know what's possible. I redrew my first major scene probably a dozen times just trying to get the composition just right, and it just always felt flat.
I got this mangaka pen, but I'm not using this. It doesn't draw when I want it to draw. I'm like trying. Nothing's coming out. Ah!
I really feel his frustration with the dip pens. I really want to get better with them myself. Same with the brush pen. Microns, though, feel like cheating. Using them feels almost zen, like it's adult coloring book time.
As you can tell, there's not going to be any speaking. There's not going to be any dialogue because I just prefer it that way. I think it's a simple story, but I also wanted to leave it to the interpreter, you know, like make it feel like your story. You can make what you want out of it.
And then one thing PewDiePie doesn't have to deal with, which lessens a lot of the load quite a bit, is dialogue. When I was working on my first page, dialogue placement was one of the biggest headaches, and I royally screwed it up. But it was a good lesson, figuring out where to put the speech bubbles in the panels, when to do that part of the process, like what comes first, the dialogue or the speech bubble, etc. All traditionally, of course, digital would be so much easier. I can just copy and paste it on. But with traditional, I found myself probably doing it in the correct order. No, wait. I did it in the wrong order. I put the speech bubble in first, so then I had this massive speech bubble, and then it's like, oh, I have 5 words, and now I have all this blank space. If it was digital, I could just resize it. Lesson learned.
I'm keeping the Bible next to me as I'm drawing, and I'm just like, holy fuck. Dude, this is so sick. I'll never be that good. This is my favorite manga. Tsutomu Nihei wrote it. And I read it as a teenager, or like young 20s, and it blew my mind. And then recently when I started to practice drawing, I was looking up different mangas to copy and draw just for fun. And I found this one called Ningyo no Kuni. And I was like, oh, I love the style of this one. Like, the style is so sick. It was in Japanese, so I didn't really read it. I just drew it. And then I realized, oh, it's Tsutomu Nihei, but he just reinvented his style. How insane is that? Even though his style is so different, I still love it. And I had no idea, like zero bias. That is so crazy to me. This whole thing is so inspired by his style. Like, I just love it. I think he's like my biggest inspiration with this manga. Maybe not the story, but the elements of the story too, actually. Or the storytelling, rather. So yeah, if you haven't checked out his work, I recommend it.
The part that got me actually a little giddy was when he started talking about his big manga inspiration. Tsutomu Nihei? Is that right? This creator of Blame. Honestly, I'd never heard of this mangaka until recently, but it felt like we were on the same wavelength or something. Just a few weeks ago, I picked up Tower Dungeon by Nihei. It was on a whim because I thought the art looked cool, and sadly, it sat on my shelf for over a month before I finally got around to reading it on the toilet. Man, I immediately fell in love with this manga. That raw, heavy, black and white style, minimal screen tones, strong but minimalistic character designs, and these insane, grandiose environments. I saw someone call it the Dark Souls of manga, and I can kinda see it. Been super motivating. The art style really, resonated with me. Heavy black and whites, no clutter, no distractions, just to focus on the scale of these grand scenes. That's exactly what I've been stressing out over with my own manga pages. Do I fill the empty space with noise, or do I just let it breathe? PewDiePie honestly needs to check out Tower Dungeon, but I'm sure he's already heard of it. By the way, guys, if you haven't noticed, I've been drawing this scene in the background. This is a scene from Tower Dungeon. I believe it's volume 3 of the manga. I'm not sure what chapter, but when the second I saw this composition, I'm just like, wow, this is what I want. Like, this is the kind of like style that I want to build, and that's why, like, when he started talking about Nihai, I just got so giddy about it because I'm like, bro, I just discovered this new mangaka, and I'm like literally fangirling over it, and it just kind of reinvigorated what I want to do. Because when I was planning my manga, I was getting really depressed. I was like, I don't know why am I even doing this? It's like, is the passion still there? And it is. It's just, I was just in a slump. I just got to reinvigorate myself with new motivations, new inspirations. So yeah, this is such a cool composition, like the sun in the background, the heavy blacks, the characters just kind of solemnly walking. Guys, you got to go check out Tower Dungeon. I swear that, like, the story, it's simple, but it's awesome. It's a lot deeper than it feels at first. Anyways, let's move on.
I'm entering the phase of almost wrapping up, and I feel like I am not happy with where it's going. And whenever that happens, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but my brain just self-folds. It goes, hey, actually I didn't care anyway, so I'm just gonna give up, whatever. What I wish my brain would do is just be like, hey, we're almost finished, just focus and do your best. It's like a coping mechanism that I do, so I can look back at it and say, actually, I didn't try my hardest, so that's why it turned out shit. I am aware of it and I'm feeling it, so I hope I can break through, basically, is what I'm saying.
Just seeing PewDiePie actually finish this project really stood out to me. He wanted to quit at points, but he powered through. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here overthinking every single detail about my second page because the first page just wasn't perfect enough. I know I'm dopamine-fried and a perfectionist. Motivation can only take you so far. When it hits, you have to ride that wave as long as possible. Use it to its fullest. But that's exactly where I struggle. I waste a lot of that motivation on planning and practicing, instead of actually finishing. I was super motivated after finishing my first page, so I spent days preparing for page 2. Practice sketches, composition, designs, you name it. Then the motivation faded, and now I'm stun locked, procrastinating because I seemingly don't want to go through that struggle again. And seeing PewDiePie complete this massive project in less than 3 months reminds me I just need to put my head down, do what's uncomfortable, keep moving forward on my own one shot, even if it's not perfect. I've never been one for delayed gratification, but I just need to channel some of that PewDiePie energy and just get it done.
The manga is done. It took me 3 months instead of 1, but it is done. To be fair, the project became 3 times as long, so I think I did okay. I have this idea that I cannot do a manga. Okay, I have to draw for at least 6 years. I have to be a master at all these different elements. Then I can draw manga. You need to try things in order to learn. You need to fail in order to learn. And again, I am Mr. Failure, okay? I fail constantly. I learned more from this 3 months of drawing than probably an entire year of drawing, because it forced me to challenge myself in doing the different things I don't want to do and realizing my flaws and weaknesses and learning from it. Because I think you have these ideas that you can't do certain things, like you have to do this first, but I feel like what's just try it. Worst case, you fail, right? I would actually consider this manga a failure. There's just too much mistakes. There's too many things I messed up. I would not publish this manga, but regardless, I did it. And I can look at it and still be kind of proud of it.
Overall, this is inspiring to watch. 50 pages is a ton of work, and he powered through it. Respect to PewDiePie. For me, it's a reminder that I need to stop overthinking everything with my own art. The first page of my manga wasn't perfect. Page 2 probably won't either, and that's okay. The only way I'm going to get better is by actually doing the work and finishing things. So yeah, thanks PewDiePie for putting this out there. It gave me a much needed kick in the butt, and I'm excited to keep going with my own manga one shot, even if it's a bit slow and messy. Not quite on the same pace as you. Maybe you're also stuck in a rut, or feeling overwhelmed with the whole manga process as well. Maybe this PewDiePie video is the sign for all of us to just keep going, or to just get started. There's no ultimate correct way to make manga, and half the fun is experimenting to find your own unique style. So, we all just got to get going and get started. Anyways, enough procrastinating. I got my own manga to finish. It's been long due. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.